In Germany, horse breeding is a way of life. The people that get into the business truly love it and want to breed the best to the best. Much of their success can be attributed to their well-known bloodlines. They know the success or failures of previous ancestors and can predict the outcome of the foals. They also have a well-structured system in which foals, mares, and prospect stallions are evaluated by. Each of these evaluations are scored and recorded for possible future breeders to use to their advantage. Finally, at most of the breed inspections, auction riders, usually professional riders, ride the horses for inspection in order to give the judges a score on rideability and temperament. This takes away from the bias of the owner in order to accurately score the horse. Today we will be covering the basics of the Oldenburg breed, including the naming of foals, the mare inspection and breeding books, and finally the stallion inspection and breeding book. Starting with the naming of foals. If a filly is intended to be used for breeding, then the filly's name must start with the first letter of the dam's name. If the filly is not intended to be used for breeding, then the filly's name can start with the first letter of either the dam or the sire's first name. A colt must be named with the first letter of the sire's name.
Mares must be at least 3 years of age to be inspected for approval into a mare book. There is no maximum age. An overall evaluation is performed to help determine which mare book a mare should be placed in. The 6 criteria for an overall evaluation performed include type, quality of conformation, correctness of gaits, impulsion and elasticity at the trot, walk, general impression, and development. For the main mare book, the mare's dam must be in the main mare book or eligible for it. It requires a 4-generation pedigree of approved and licensed stallions by Oldenburg Breeding or another acknowledged breeding association. The mare must score at least a 6 for her overall evaluation, and no single score may be lower than 5. The mare book requires a 3-generation pedigree of approved stallions. The mare's dam must be in or eligible for that main mare book, or the pre-mare book 1. Her overall evaluation score must be at least 5, with no single score lower than 4. The Pre-Mare Book 1 only requires a 2-generation pedigree of approved stallions, and the mare must score at least a 5, with no single score lower than 4 in her overall evaluation. The Pre-Mare Book 2 is for any mare that does not meet the criteria for the other 3 mare books, but demonstrates the type of German riding horse. Oldenburg continues to accept thoroughbred mares that exhibit exceptional conformation and mentality. These thoroughbreds must have registry papers from the Jockey Club. They need good elastic flowing gaits and should have competed well in sport horse disciplines. In some special cases, Arabians have also been accepted, but this is rare because Arabians do not have performance tests for the stallions. During the free jumping and at liberty phase of the mare performance test, the mares are presented to the judges in a snaffle bit and are asked to run free to show off the trot and canter. They are then asked to jump a series of 3 jumps, starting with a crossrail, followed by a short one-stride to an oxer or vertical, followed by another short one-stride to another oxer, which can be increased incrementally. This tests the mare's scope and ability over the jumps. This phase helps determine whether the mare would be better suited for dressage or show jumping. The percentages for this phase are broken down to free jumping 30%, free trot 5%, and free canter 5%. For the 3 gaits under saddle, a rider is provided by the trainer or owner of the mare. The mares work in groups of 3 and will present the 3 gaits following the judge's commands, much like an under saddle class at a horse show. This is not judged like a dressage test, so accuracy is not a factor. The walk is worth 18.35%, trot 13.33%, and the canter is worth 13.33%. After presenting the 3 gaits under saddle, a test rider provided by Oldenburg Breeding will ride the mare and judge the rideability. These riders are extremely experienced horsemen and give an unbiased opinion on what they think of the horse. This ride is about 5 minutes long and counts for 15% of the evaluation.
Stallion testing usually takes place between the ages of 2 and 4 years old. Through the stallion testing, thoroughbreds and Arabians will be considered as long as the proper paperwork is provided and they can meet all performance testing requirements. Much like the performance test for the mare, the stallions must go through performance tests of their own in order to be considered for the Stallion Book 1. These tests can be more extensive in their length as the selection of these top stallions is taken very seriously. After attending an inspection at any age, the prospective stallion may undergo either a 70 or 30-day test. If the stallion undergoes a 30-day test, they must also complete various performance requirements, many of which require certain placings at different levels of competition or certain scores and inspections. On top of the performance tests, the stallions must have a 5-generation pedigree of licensed and approved stallions. They must include the sire of the stallion, all the sires of the dam line going back 3 generations as well. Europe has worked to master horse breeding over hundreds of years. With their ability to track pedigrees and have an objective scoring system, they have created lines of horses that will be hard to beat at any competition.